Hello everyone, welcome to Apna Talk. My host Richard Kumar is unavailable today. He had to attend an urgent matter. The show will go on today as Richard has given me some very important questions based on your feedback from our talk, which was well received last week. And he's given me some really good questions for me to answer. Now I want to go on. The main issue or the questions, the main topic today is business impact on level 3. Now, there's been a lot of things going on. For the last 5 weeks, we've had a lockdown of level 4, which has been devastating to a lot of businesses, especially the small SMEs, which is the small medium enterprise businesses, and also the family businesses, the mom and dads, from your dairy in the corner to a takeaway Indian business, restaurants, clothing shops. So today we will be talking about level 3, and as you know, we'll be going into level 3 on Monday the 27th at 11:59 p.m. So coming next Tuesday, we will be then going into level 3. So now what's the difference between a level 3 and a level 4? In level 4, as you will know, the main difference is only essential services are allowed to operate, from supermarkets to doctors to pharmacies. You've got the fire department, immigration, the cops, the police, and things like that. Okay, so only essential services. Everybody else was on lockdown. You couldn't operate any other businesses. So therefore, the impact was great. And I explained last week. We spoke about the wage subsidy, where it had some cushion, financial support for businesses. There was also other loans available to businesses to apply from banks and etc. So we now move on to level 3 on Monday. So what do we expect on Monday? I'm not saying that everything is clear, because it is not. We are here to discuss what has been said, and I must have a disclaimer that this is not legal advice. This is my view on what has been printed in the media, but of course you will need to check with your advisors, including MBIE, who's basically the main government body taking care of these businesses. Lockdown is welcome by many of you, I'm sure, because you would be allowed to go and operate your business, right? To some extent. It is not going to be like pre-lockdown, before the lockdown, business as usual. There will be a lot of differences in that if you compare pre-lockdown to level 3. However, the positive side of this whole thing is you will be allowed to open certain businesses. So the main difference between level 3 and level 4 is, if you can still operate from home, then work from home. That's the government's policy. If you listen to the Prime Minister's speech in Parliament, she will mention this. She has mentioned this before. If your business can operate from home, then level 3 will still mean that you are working from home. So if you are, like me, a lawyer, an accountant, you're a counselor, you're an academic, you are a counselor. You're an academic. You operate from home. You're an engineer, you're an architect. So certain businesses where you can operate from home, there's not going to be any difference between a lockdown 3 and a lockdown 4, because the same condition applies, that you work from home, you have your meetings online, you zoom in to see a client, you ring up, you use social media in terms of WhatsApp, or you use the internet, which is available to you. But level 3 applies to businesses who can't operate from home. Now, the classic business which can't operate from home, especially the ethnic Indian owned or the minority owned, are takeaways. restaurants, barber shops, can they operate? Panel beaters, mechanics, can they operate? People who run grocery shops or selling clothing, selling puja items, for example. If you want to buy stuff for your temple, do those shops allowed to open at level 3? Now the question is yes, they are. Not all of the ones I've mentioned. I will go down and explain which businesses can be open. Again, it's subject to MBIE. MBIE indicated, MBIE is the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment. In fact, they indicated they're going to have a accreditation scheme to businesses that are allowed to operate, but at level 3. But as of today, I haven't seen it in their website. So watch out for that space. When it comes to a takeaway, let's go to a typical Asian Indian takeaway selling your butter chicken and your biryani. What the government has said now is that you must operate your business safely in a contactless environment. Okay? Now, what do you mean by a contactless environment? That means you should not have any contact with the public, with your customer. There's no face-to-face with the public. There's no close proximity with the public. Okay? So what the government is saying is, yes, you can operate your restaurant. In fact, you can go in to prepare this weekend on Monday, go in, get your stock in to run your business on Tuesday when you wake up in the morning and open your shop. But it has to be contactless, which means no one can go into your takeaway and order food, right? It can't be face-to-face. It will not be the same way of you running a business prior to this lockdown. So what the government is saying is, you need to make sure that people order their food either online or by the phone. So someone who's coming to buy your food would need to ring you up, would need to click a button online because you've got your website sorted out, and they go in, they make payment, they click the food they order. There's two ways to deliver, to deliver the food. You either use Uber Eats. Now, we did mention that last week, I think I did mention that Uber Eats takes 35% of the cost of your food item, which eats into a lot of your profits. Now, I suggested two things that Uber Eats discusses with your association, the government, or there might be some increase in your food because you are now providing an extra service rather than people go to your takeaway and expose themselves, or in terms of time and gas, the food comes to them. So I think people are quite happy to pay some amount of money extra, but not too much. So we need to look at the balance of how much to pay. So the people who can't, or the businesses who can't provide delivery service or do not wish to go along those lines, then there's a bit of complication. So how do you, as a consumer, go and collect your food? Now, one of the reasons, or one of the suggestions by a particular association in South Auckland is the takeaways can put some tables, arrange some tables outside the shop. The customer orders the food, pays for it either online or through a mobile FPOS device placed again outside the shop. Food is prepared with the name of the particular customer, with a bag left outside the particular shop. Now, that obviously does satisfy the contactless situation. There's no face-to-face, but my concern is health and safety issues. People passing the takeaway. You've got food. Obviously, it's still packed, belonging to somebody else. Whether that is encouraged now, I need MBIE to clarify whether that's possible, because some business associations in certain parts of Auckland have been advising their takeaways to perhaps look at that kind of a business structure, whether that can be operated. So that's one of those things which is different. So if you want to buy food, you ring up online, contactless, you pay either by FPOS or online, and you collect your food or you get it delivered. Now, what if it's other items? For example, if you want to buy a clothing, for example, either a sari or a Punjabi suit or a lenga or whatever. All right, you have a function or no function, you have a prayer at home, you want to buy something new. So what do? Again, you go online, you look at what shops which offers the best deal, you click, you pay online, shop will then courier the business to you. Now, again, whether that's something which is workable, I think it can, because online transactions for clothing has been going on for a long time. Now, I've been asked with specific professions in South, especially in South Auckland. Can a car mechanic, for example, conduct his business in level 3? Can a panel beater conduct his business in level 3? Can a pizza delivery guy, who again a lot of franchisees are ethnic owned in South Auckland, including Pizza, and you've got KFC and McDonald's and stuff. Can they operate? Yes, of course you can, because all these franchises, if you notice, they have a drive-in, drive-through, so you can order your food. Obviously, McDonald's have come out with a statement that they can't provide the full menu. There'll be a limited menu because you can only conduct your business in certain environment. But what about a panel beater, for example? So this is something which is not really listed in the website. Some are listed. Real estate agents, if you can't operate from home, yes, you can operate from the office, but again, contactless. You're not allowed to see any clients in the office. They can't come in. Can you have an open home, for example? There's no guidelines, so we are actually waiting for guidelines. You should have an open home by having only 1 or 2 customers, potential investors. Right. When it comes to real estate agents, again, can they operate from work, from the office? Now, I know a lot of real estate agents because I've given a lot of talks to them on tax. So now the guidelines suggest that if a real estate agent can work from home, then work from home. If the real estate agent cannot work from home, then yes, they can go to their place of work, which is the office. Can they then see clients at office? The question arises, and the answer to that is no. You can't see clients, but you can operate online. You can talk to your potential clients online, people who are interested in investing in the property online. Can you have an open home? For example, we're still vague with a lot of guidelines because we're not sure, but looking at the contactless and safety aspects, maybe they can have an open home provided there's no one at home, and have perhaps 1 or 2 clients coming in, maintaining a social distancing at that time. So that is probably possible. Now, a panel beater, can he operate his business? Now, if his business is a one-man show, he operates down in Manurewa, for example. There's a lot of panel beaters who are ethnic owners. Yes, in my view, again, you need to check with MBIE whether you could operate. But if you're operating alone, there's no other contact with the public, you're in a shop doing jobs, by yourself or maybe with another party, another worker, and you've got social distancing because he's working on one car and you're working on another car, that is obviously possible. So you need to actually look at your business. Every businesses need to now look at their risk. You look at your safety from a safety point of view. You look at health and safety considerations. You talk to your staff and you address these problems. Can you, with the guidelines which the government has provided, the social distancing, the contactless, if you need to put on plastic barriers in certain circumstances, do that. Can you have lunch together? No. Your smoko time, can you have it together? No. Do you have to wear your gloves and mask at work? Yes. That is probably a basic thing for you to do. The other professions I've been asked, and I think this is quite crucial, is your barber shop. As you know, a lot of barber shops are owned by ethnic groups as well. So, if a barber shop, the manicure and pedicure shops, a hairdresser. Yesterday, I had a call from a Chinese outlet having a mahjong shop, where they have a mahjong club and they play a lot of this mahjong games. Can they operate in a level 3? And the answer to that is no. Can you go to the gym? Can the gym be open at level 3? The answer to that is no. Can a bar and entertainment outlet be open in level 3? And the answer to that is no, because the risk is still extremely high. There is still contact with your customers, your friends, and your public, and your clients, especially when you're having a haircut. We all miss having a haircut and going to the hair salon until this ends. But unfortunately, the risk is still high because between the hairdresser and the client sitting in the chair, the risk of spreading COVID-19 is still there. So you can't operate. And for these businesses, specifically people who can't operate business, I urge the government to look at further funding. It is not their fault that they have to close their business. It's no one's fault. We've got this epidemic that has come to New Zealand. I think largely we have done extremely well with lower deaths and lower spreading of this particular virus. But the impact on business, especially SMEs and your mom and dad and small businesses, has been devastating. And the 7 weeks, 12 weeks given to contractors and wage subsidy may be enough for some businesses, but largely not enough for the others. So for those businesses specifically not allowed to open into level 3, I urge the government to look at those businesses very carefully. These businesses are actually the fundamental tax base for New Zealand. They represent SMEs and the normal small, medium size, and your mom and dad represent 60% of our worker base and tax base. So we need to make sure that these businesses survive during level 3. And I think most businesses will survive, will open perhaps at level 2. We haven't come across, we have no guidelines on level 2 as yet. But level 3 is going to be for 3 weeks, and the government did not say that it will end after. Is expected to go on for 2 weeks, and the government did not say that it will end after 2 weeks. Again, there's a lot of speculation. We don't know what's going to happen after level 3. That might be extended for perhaps another week, like how level 4 was extended for another week. So we don't know. So the longer the process of extension of level 3, yes, there's a lot of businesses who can go to work. There'll be about 400,000 to 500,000 people on the roads going to work. There will be some economic activity, which is great. There will be people buying food, having a coffee, buying your favorite fish and chips, takeaway. However, it is expected that the business will be slow. It's not going to be roaring. It is not going to be even 50%. I expect a lot of businesses starting very slowly to open, having a gradual increase in customer base. So that's for level 3. So I urge for those who can't open, further subsidies to be given to them. Before you operate your business, it's also very important for employers especially, have a plan. Talk to your employees. Tell them, hey, look, we've got this level 3, there's certain things we can do, there's certain things we can't do. So have a plan, have a risk assessment where health and safety is concerned, because health and safety is extremely important in case people from officers from the health and safety office comes to check, or MBIE comes to check. You have a plan. Just don't go in without looking at your business and seeing how it will work at level 3. Now, the commercial leases, I have spoken at length about it last week. There has been really good results in some of the clients which I've been dealing with. There's been a lot of negotiations between landlords and tenants, and that's a very positive outcome. However, there is no assistance at this stage, as far as I know, from the government. The other thing we need to do is contact tracing. Now, contact tracing is where someone visits your shop, your restaurant, your takeaway. If they go in, they need to write down their name and their contact number. Now, I've done that in a few places. You don't have to do it in the essential level 4 essential service providers. Like if you go to any supermarket, that's fine. But if you try going to an ethnic grocery store, you will need to write your name and contact number. Now there have been issues that the guidelines are not very clear. I asked the government to come up, or MBIE to come up with clear guidelines. And the other concern which I've been approached by clients is the Privacy Act. I mean, you've got your contact number and your name on a piece of paper or in a book, whether there's any issues with privacy. Now, there's got to be a balance between health and safety. You've got issues of privacy. I think what the public needs to understand is we are faced with an epidemic, a very serious one, which can have major repercussions. We are already going through that economically. Whether we have to be very strict on the Privacy Act, but I think we need further directions, further guidelines from the government in respect of that. The other thing which I want to touch on is hygiene, your careers, your business plan. So it's very important that when you run your business, besides having a business plan of how you're going to do this, understanding the how level 3 is going to work, your marketing needs to change, your health and safety requirements needs to be looked at. You also need to look at your cash flow. Now is not the time to look at profits. I do not want to go into that yet because time is running out. However, I'm urging all businesses, whether you are SMEs, you're big or small, you need to have a business plan in terms of your cash flow. At the moment, I do not think your profits is a priority. Your most important thing at the moment is your cash flow, which means your overheads, your rent, your insurance, your staff. Please negotiate with your landlord. Not only during this lockdown 3, we've just got over lockdown 4. On Monday we'll finish lockdown 3. Perhaps in lockdown 2 as well. Talk to your landlord and say, look, my business has been affected tremendously. I used to have a turnover of $1,000 a day from my business. Today I have a turnover of $150 a day, and I cannot sustain that. So I might fold and go insolvent, or I might face liquidation. So talk to your landlord, your partner, your business owner. Have a chat with them, a frank chat with them, with your advisors, and hopefully we would be able to overcome this collectively. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm coming to the end of my segment on business impact on level 3. I just want to reiterate, have a business plan, and please go to the MBIE website. Also look at the work safety website. They've got massive amounts of information. I've printed out a lot of them. What you can do, what you should not do, what your business plan should be. And I think there's a lot of information. However, there is still a lot of information that the government needs to come up with. I urge the relevant government departments, the ministers, to look at the operation at level 3, and funding for certain businesses at level 3 in a more serious level. All right, thank you very much. Now, before I end tonight's segment, next week we are going to address a very important topic, and it's not been addressed before by anyone: overstayers in New Zealand and COVID-19. Now, there are, I am told from reading in the media, going and doing a bit of research, more than 10,000 overstayers in New Zealand. That's a huge, huge figure. Now, no one has addressed this. No MPs, no ministers has looked at overstayers and the impact of COVID-19. Can they access tests, for example? Can they go to the clinic? Can they go to the hospital if they are coughing, if they have been in contact with someone who's just come from overseas, but they, you know, and they've got all the symptoms, and they have the fear of hey, I don't have a valid work permit, I don't have a visa, I've overstayed for a number of years, I don't even have my passport, I've lost it somewhere, I don't have my driving license. What do I do? So Apna Talk with Richard Kumar is going to have a look of the overstayers issue in New Zealand. And until then, good night.